This is why we can't have nice things. A water main broke near my house and cut off my service. When this happens, the town provides cases of bottled water to anyone who's affected. It's a simple process. They stack the cases of bottled water outside the town hall, and residents can just stop by and take what they need. When I went by yesterday, I saw a guy I know loading cases into his car. He doesn't live in the affected areas, so I asked him if his neighborhood was also impacted. He said it wasn't, but as long as the town is giving away something for free, he's going to take it. Today my water is back, but we're advised to boil it before using it before drinking or cooking. So I went to pick up another case, but standing next to it was a cop who asked for my ID and made a note of how much I took. When I asked why, the cop said that people who were not affected just showed up and took as many cases as they could fit in their car. So now it's being rationed. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Jon. Today we're taking a look at some entitled people, and that is extremely entitled. I mean, the title of this whole story was so accurate. This is why we can't have nice things. I see it all the time. If there's something for free, people won't just take one, even if it's for everyone, not just those affected by flooding or whatever, or power outages or any other natural disaster or otherwise. I've been to shows before where we set up like craft shows and things like that, where we set up we have a soap company, in case you haven't figured it out by now. If you've only watched one of our videos before, you may not know this, but we make soap. We have a soap company, handmade, mostly natural soaps, and we set up at some events and we would have free samples. People could take a little chunk of soap, either take it home and test it out or take it to the local public restroom or whatever and try it out. And if they like it, they can come back and buy some or not, whatever. But invariably, now little kids, I almost expect little kids once in a while to show up and try to take a fistful of them, or fill their pockets. And, you teach them, hey, one sample per person, maybe two if I'm feeling generous that day. But then when the adults start doing it, that's what really sets me off. I mean, seriously, what would make an adult think that it's okay? There are nonprofit organizations. Why is this person stopped in the middle of the bridge? Oh, they're taking pictures. Oh, Lord. Another thing, in case you haven't noticed, I'm in a weird control room here. On the weekends, I work part-time as a bridge tender, so I make the little drawbridge go up and down, up and down. Not that many times, but seriously, there's almost nobody on the river today, which is a shame because the weather is absolutely beautiful. So anyway, back to the story. There are nonprofit organizations who will set up, and they'll like a therapy organization or whatever, local political office, and they'll have little slogans printed on pens and buttons and maybe like a little cheapy canvas bag, something like that. And people will walk straight up and grab armloads of this stuff. Well, it's free, isn't it? Well, no, that's not what free means. Free doesn't mean you get to take however much you want. I don't know. People just suck. And it's not everybody, but there are a certain percentage of people in this world who just ruin things for all of us, And stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to try. I'm working on a laptop. It's not as fast as a computer I'm used to using at home. I'm going to try to get a clip of me opening the bridge here towards the end of the video. So, stay tuned. Let's see if I can get the editing right. Guest demands paid job cleaning home she's visiting. My dad, Bill, recently had a visit from an old friend, Tom, and his new girlfriend, Susan. Susan had met my dad once or twice already, but it was brief and it was her first time in his home. They climbed the stairs from the front door into the kitchen and dining room, which opened into the living room. Dad grabs a few beers and he and Tom head to the table. Meanwhile, Susan is giving herself an in-depth tour, wandering through the rooms, looking at everything, touching everything. As if it weren't WTF enough in the home of someone for the first time, Susan suddenly declares, "Bill, this place is a mess." My poor dad was literally rendered speechless. For starters, it was a blatant lie. Dad is in his late 60s, but in excellent physical health and totally keeps things neat and clean. Of course, there's always a little clutter or whatnot, but it's the typical things like a stack of mail that hasn't been gone through yet. Some snacks, just little things you expect in any home that has people living in it. But for another, this woman was a guest in his home. Had he been a hoarder worthy of his own Netflix episode, it would have been proper manners to keep her mouth shut. But as Dad floundered, the plot thickened. But don't worry, Bill, Susan continued cheerfully. I'll come and clean for you. I've been looking for a new house cleaning customer, so I have plenty of time to come work here. My rates are just X dollars, so you're lucky I came by to help you out. I'll start tomorrow. Apparently, my father is a much more restrained person than I am. I don't believe I could have handled it as calmly as he did, under the circumstances. He just gave her a firm no thank you. I don't need any help at this time. Of course, Susan didn't just accept that. He had to tell her several times before she finally backed down. And what was Tom doing throughout all this? Sitting silently, beer in hand, and chill expression on his face. Oh, hell no! I don't care if you're my girlfriend, wife, daughter. I don't give a rat's behind who you are. If I take you to someone's house and you start in, you want to tell me later what your opinions are? Fine. You want to ask somebody, hey, are you looking for somebody to help, clean your house, things like that? You can ask that question, but to just make the statement that this place is a mess, you need my help, I'm going to charge you and I'll start tomorrow. No, 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 no. First of all, we're at my friend's house. Why don't you go sit down? Here, have one of my beers. Go sit down and be quiet. And if you're not capable, I'll go drop you off somewhere and then I'll come back and finish my beer. There is no reason in this world for anybody to be that rude. Seriously. I don't know why. I'm sorry if it looks weird while I'm talking to you. I keep looking at the picture of me instead of the camera. And then the other times my eyes are just darting all over because cars are going by. There's the river in front of me. It's a great view. And,
Squirrel!
People just need to learn to keep their mouths shut and keep their opinions to themselves and stop trying to bully people into doing things the way you think they should be done. It's really simple. Woman parked in my driveway then called me pathetic. Hi all, I've been a long-time lurker on this thread but never had a story to tell, until now. I'm on mobile, so apologies for any errors. I posted on Reddit maybe twice, so please forgive me if I do anything wrong here. Also, I live in the UK in case that matters. It's Friday, 5:05 p.m. and I'm just back from work after a long day. Our street is a private road where we all own our own sections of land and our driveways are opposite from our houses, on the other side of the road. I pull onto the street and see a car parked in my driveway and a mother-son duo heading into my next-door neighbor's house. I roll my window down and ask if it's their car. It is. So I ask if they can move it. She tried pulling the, "So sorry, I was only going to be 2 minutes," to which I replied, "That's great, but it's my property and my actual driveway, and I'd like to park my car." I will admit I definitely had a bit of an attitude here. It's been a long week and I had stuff to do and really just wanted to get into the house. Also, who thinks it's okay to park on a stranger's driveway? As she's pulling off my driveway, she has the audacity to call me pathetic, and her son stood at the door telling me to park it and leave it. I would, sir, but your mother's still blocking my path to do so. I was so angry I was shaking by this point and just praying I wouldn't stall my car and look like a total twat. Lol. Anyway, that's my story. My first ever. Please don't be the kind of person that thinks it's okay to park on someone else's property, especially when there's enough room to park on the road. Yeah, I've talked about this before. There's no reason. Now, if you're parking on the street, sorry about the squeaky chair. If you're parking on the street and it's, legal in that area, who cares where you park on the street? Etiquette says don't block someone's driveway whether it's legal or not. And believe it or not, there are still some places in this country where it's legal, perfectly legal, if you're on the public street, to park in front of someone's driveway. Makes no sense to me, and I still wouldn't do it, no matter how legal it is, because that's just an a-hole move. But anyway, to actually pull into someone else's driveway on their property, that takes some nuts, man. I mean, who does that? And then to call you pathetic because you're asking them to move off of your property. That makes zero sense. I mean, at first when I was reading this story, I was thinking, okay, maybe there's no signage or whatever, or markings, and they just didn't understand how things worked at their friend's house, at the neighbor. I'm pretty sure, the way I'm envisioning this, I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious that, each house's driveway or flat or whatever is right across from their unit. So, yeah, I don't buy it. I think they were just being a-holes and wanted to park wherever they wanted to park. If you get a chance, speaking of parking, bad parking and illegal parking and things like that, if you ever like watching those people be towed and sort of get a little bit of, sort of petty revenge, there's a channel on YouTube called Everything Autos, or Everything Auto. They're a towing company out of Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee area, and I like watching their videos. It's a husband-wife duo, and their son. Their son also makes appearances in their videos to do tow jobs and recovery jobs and things like that. And it's pretty interesting. You get to see some black bears, some ignorant people, the traffic jams in downtown Gatlinburg when they have their festivals and the holidays and things like that. We're coming into fall right now, and Gatlinburg from this point forward through till at least New Year's is going to be an absolute nightmare. You couldn't pay me to go to that part of Tennessee this time of year. I don't care how pretty the leaf change is, the colors in the trees. But yeah, cool channel to check out. Go check them out if you get a chance. Everything Auto. Jeff is the guy's name who owns the company. Great guy, great personality, very kind, way more patient than I am. I'm pretty sure I'd be locked up by now if I was in his position half the time, but yeah, that's why I work by myself in a bridge, like the bridge house. They need to keep me away from actual people. No such thing as a free sandwich. I worked at a sandwich place when I was in high school. One day I was working alone up front because the shift manager was off getting high somewhere. This happened a lot, but there was a lull at the time, so I didn't mind. A customer came in and ordered 2 sandwiches to go. She was very pregnant and acting kind of strangely, rushing me along and glancing around a lot. I didn't think too much of it until we reached the register. I rung her up and told her the total. She then informed me that she would be taking the sandwiches without paying because we owed her for last time. I asked what she meant, and she immediately starts shouting at me about how her sandwiches were not good last time, and she was told that she could come in anytime and get 2 more for free. I asked if she had been given a coupon that she could exchange for them, which was the policy for things like this. No, she had been told it was okay over the phone. Yeah, right. That was definitely not the policy, and I knew it. I told her that if she wanted to take these sandwiches today, she would need to buy them. Her face turned purple, and she demanded to speak to the manager. When I told her that the manager wasn't on the premises, she demanded their number. I said I wasn't comfortable giving out someone else's number, but she could look it up in the phone book, since the manager's name was public information posted on the wall by the register. I admit that last part was a bit snarky, but I was 16 years old, alone at my first job, being yelled at by an entitled adult. I was so flustered by the experience, I just wanted it to be over. She said, "Fine, hand me the phone book." And stupidly, I did. She made a big show of looking through it, flipping the pages with unnecessary force while glaring at me, becoming increasingly frustrated at me for not just giving in and letting her take the sandwiches for free. And y'all, this grown woman picked up this giant phone book and chucked it right at my teenage head before running out to the parking lot and driving away. I dodged the phone book and set aside the sandwiches for my stone shift manager. I never saw the free sandwich lady again. I've been in situations where, as a customer, I get an order and I don't open it till I get home, or, I'm eating on the road and I don't open it till I'm already 5, 6, 7, 20 miles away from the location. And it's like, ah, crap. It's the wrong sandwich. They gave me somebody else's, tuna salad sandwich instead of my Italian hoagie that I wanted. Sub, whatever. I'm from Jersey. We call everything like that a hoagie. If you get up too far north, you can call it a hero, maybe a submarine sandwich. It just depends. Anyway, doesn't matter at all to this story, but anyway. And, I call them up, and if it's a chain place, I say, "Listen, man, you messed up the sandwich, or, something's off about this. It doesn't taste good, and I really can't eat it. And I really hate tuna salad on a sandwich, but, I can probably stomach that rather than starve." But most of the time they're willing to make it right, and they'll either send you a coupon in the mail, through your email, something like that. Now, if you live in the area, and they'll say, "Come in and talk to the manager and show them your receipt," and they'll go ahead and reimburse you, or make you, usually they won't reimburse you, but they'll make you a new sandwich to replace the one that you didn't like. And it's usually no big deal. But so many people just assume that they're going to get an exchange, or maybe she was just BSing. Maybe she didn't have a bad experience and she thought she could bully this kid into giving her free stuff because, young kids can be gullible sometimes, or just timid and want to get out of the situation, so they just do it. Fine, take the sandwiches, whatever. Adults like this really need to be yoked up and taught a lesson by somebody. I'm not sure who that person is or what that lesson looks like, but as a society, we can't continue like this. Somebody's got to set these people straight, or they're just going to keep taking advantage until, things escalate and they keep trying it with bigger and bigger things. And again, people suck. Vet clinic, last appointment of the day, arrives late, brings 2 extra dogs, but locks dogs and keys in the car. Then expects us to stay until AAA unlocks the car. As the title says, I'm a veterinarian, and the last appointment of the day arrives late. We close at 5:30. They arrive at 5:20 for a 5 p.m. appointment. Oh dear. It was a puppy vaccination. They bring 2 extra dogs and ask if we can do nail trims on the 2 large aggressive dogs. I explain we're short-staffed, but we'll do it if the owner can help hold the dogs. Owner can't control her dogs, so eventually we agree that we'll try the nail trim. Owner goes to get dogs out of the car, but has locked the dogs and the keys in the car. She then says she expects us to stay until AAA unlocks her car, since her dogs really need a nail trim. I can understand maybe... Oh, there's a boat coming. Are they going to go under the bridge? Do I need to open it? Anyway, I can understand maybe being late. A call to the vet's office would have helped, ease things and smooth it over. And, even then you should never assume or expect that the vet's office is going to stay open late for you. But if they do, fine, that's cool. But then to add the 2 extra dogs on, they're aggressive and you can't control them, and to leave your keys in the car with a bunch of dogs in the car, first of all, that's just asking for you to have your keys locked in the car, because dogs are going to be all over those doors hitting buttons. They're going to press the lock button and lock you out and your keys in. Always take your keys with you. Too much common sense for some people, I guess. Vets don't have the easiest job dealing with other people's animals, for one, but then dealing with the owner is just a whole different ball of wax. And a lot of owners are just not great people. All right, time to open the bridge. Actually had a live boat come through. Now I forget what I was talking about. Oh well, next story. She wanted me to be more mindful about something I had no control over. This happened a few years ago, but it still rankles me a bit. I was a member of my city's community gym. Low cost, nothing fancy, but had a decent array of cardio machines and dumbbells. I used to frequently use one of the machines that was similar to an elliptical, but slightly more challenging. I'm not sure what it was called, and the gym only had 2 of these machines, and if it was available, I preferred to use the one next to the window, so my favorite machine had been slowly developing a squeaking noise. But it functioned fine, and the staff hadn't put an out of order sign on it or anything. One day I was working out on this machine. I would usually stay on it for 30 to 45 minutes, and it was squeaking the whole time. But whatever, it's a gym, not a church, and everyone's wearing headphones anyway. I finished my workout, and as I was walking toward the exit, a woman on one of the ellipticals turned around and said to me, "Could you please be more mindful of the noise your machine is making?" I wish I had pushed back, but I'm not very assertive, and I just gasped at her and left. I told the front desk staff that someone had complained about me, and they said that she was being ridiculous to think I had any control over the machine. The gym did eventually fix the squeaking. Really? Complaining over some machine squeaking? In a gym, you're going to hear cables and pulleys and, the occasional grunt or sigh when somebody's, having a hard time with an exercise. The whirring of the elliptical machines, the recumbent bikes, things like that. The treadmills, I don't care how quiet they make them. You're still going to hear the zzzz and the slap, slap, slap of people's feet while they're running. It's a noisy place. It's not quiet. You could try to be quiet, but it's only going to go so far. That's why we have earbuds. Put your damn earbuds in and do your thing, stay in your lane, and don't worry about other people. Now if this person was slamming weights and doing things that were intentionally or even unintentionally, but just rude nonetheless, if they were just, doing weird things that could be controlled and avoided, that's a different story. But, a machine that's squeaking, come on. People have just gone way too far with this stuff, man. Entitled Pet Sitter. This one is short, but hang on for a wild ride. I swear this is true. One day my brother and I took our dog with us to the grocery store, which usually meant one would go inside while the other waited outside with our dog. It was as we were walking to the store that someone driving this huge truck was trying to get our attention. Naturally, we ignored it until they drove over the sidewalk ahead of us. This was when this woman jumped out and was nonstop talking about their pet sitting service. Oh, another one who wants to force her services on you. When they finished, 30 minutes later, they got back up in the truck and left. Never heard or saw them again, but did hear a rumor they had been arrested for doing the same to a cop and their dog. Could you imagine pet sitting a police canine? If you're not their handler, there's a good chance you're going to make a wrong move and they're going to rip your damn head off. simple, simple woman. I wonder if she's related to the cleaning lady who's dating Tom. I'm not saying that I've never, noticed a scenario before where, someone's talking about soap's a little difficult, unless people bring up the subject of soap. But sometimes, you'll be in a crowd, you'll be talking to people, and one of the people you talk to talks about their beard being dry, the skin underneath being dry and flaky, things like that, styling, even shaving. I mean, I don't get many people talking to me about shaving because most assume that I just never shave and never have shaved. Like I was born with this beard, I guess. But, I'm not saying that there are times that I haven't mentioned, have you tried a good beard balm and things like that. I don't come right out of the gate usually and say, well, we make this awesome beard balm and beard oil and you could use it. And I don't push that hard. Now, I will push a little and I'll say, have you tried a good beard balm or beard oil? And they'll say yes or no, and what they've tried or that they've never even heard of the stuff, or if they're like the age group of my dad who would never ever put anything in their beard. Of course, they'd slap on enough cologne to make your eyes water, but putting anything in their beard just isn't very manly. But then a lot of times the conversation can sort of take a natural-ish turn towards the fact that you make these products, and if they want to try them out, let you know. You can toss them a coupon code. You can say, we had somebody from our church mention it. And I said, you know what? Next Sunday, I'll bring you a sample. You can try it out. If you like it, great. If you don't, I'm not offended. Not every product is for every person. And, I would be foolish to think that our product is perfect for everybody and it's the end all be all and the best in the world. I mean, I'm biased. Of course, I think it's the best because I make it. But you got to set your personal feelings aside, and it's a business. So, you do your best without being pushy, aggressive, being an a-hole. This lady failed miserably. Entitled neighbor asked for free, oh my god, bougainvilleas? Sort of like sounds like azaleas a little bit. Bougainvilleas. Bougainvilleas. I don't know. It sounds too close to boogers. I can't believe it. I've met a lot of entitled people, but never this entitled. It all started this morning. My parents love to plant flowers on their yard, from hibiscus to water lily, but their most priced and pride is definitely the bougainvilleas. You're going to type this a lot in this story, aren't you? This morning, my mom went to water the plants and feed the koi fishes. Enter my elderly neighbor, around 80 plus years old. They were having a conversation and it goes like this. The entitled neighbor says, "Can I have your bougainvilleas? 2 of them?" Mom, confused, as in cutting some to put in a vase? Sure. The entitled neighbor says, "No, I want to plant them in my yard." Mom says, "I'm not sure if that plant can grow after cutting. I'll ask a gardener's opinion. If I can, I'll cut it for you." Entitled neighbor says, "No need, just dig out yours and put it in my yard. I have 2 empty holes and thought of your plant." Mom says, "What?" The neighbor is like, "I like the red ones. When can you dig it up and put it in my yard?" Mom says, "I just bought those. I can't give you anything yet because it's still in the process of growing." The neighbor says, "Then let it grow at my yard. No need to wait for it to grow." Mom, now frustrated, says, "Sorry, but no. If you want to, please go buy at the plant shop." The neighbor keeps insisting, even dragging my dad into it to give it to them for free. When they wouldn't budge, he keeps cursing and leaves. Like, what? Update. That neighbor decided to injure my other neighbor's dog. I'll update when he comes back from the veterinary clinic. Sort of learning that word, bougainvilleas. Villias is how it's spelled, but I've heard other people say Villias, so I don't know. Anyway, I never had anybody. I've had people ask me for cuttings off of plants before, and certain plants like, lilies, hostas, things that you can split off, like, physically split the root ball in half and you can separate them. I've had people ask for that. Never have I had anybody ask to take a whole plant. So I don't understand. This guy sounded like he was either, getting dementia, 80 plus years old. Some people, even when they get to that age, it's not dementia or Alzheimer's. It's actually just their natural way, their natural born entitledness. And it just gets more intense the older they get. They get more childlike and insistent and don't take no for an answer. So I've seen it go a bunch of different ways. But, Yeah, that's just I think you need to keep those plants guarded and maybe put a sign up. No, you cannot have my plants, because I have a feeling if this guy can move around at all, at some point he's going to end up digging them up himself. So maybe put a ring camera out there or something with a sign, and maybe let him know, hey, I've got cameras, don't touch my plants. I don't know. I looked around, by the way. There was no update about the neighbor's dog, so I'm not sure how they decided to injure the dog, how that came about, but that would be interesting to hear. But I dug around and there was nothing. So anyway, speaking of the products that I mentioned several times in this video, if you guys are into any kind of handmade soaps, beard balms, traditional shave soaps and aftershaves, things like that, even laundry soap. We make laundry soap. Who would have thought? That's kind of what started our business. My wife asked me to make homemade laundry soap for us, and it was a hit. It took me a while to tweak the recipe to the way I like it. It's still nothing super complicated. There's only a few ingredients in it, and that's one of the reasons we like it. It's simple and effective. But if you're into things like that, do me a favor and check out this website right here, UncleJohnSoap.com. And for the rest of the weekend, if I can get this video out right, I'll let it go till Monday night. For the rest of the weekend, we're running a 20% off special. So place your order at checkout. Use coupon code SOAP20, SOAP20, and that'll give you 20% off at checkout. Again, no pressure. Not trying to force it on anybody. I don't want to be like that cleaning lady. So anyway, till the next one, guys, we'll see you. All right, we're going to get it set up to open the bridge here. Get everything ready. Turn the switchboard on. Make sure there's no pedestrians on the bridge. Traffic control. Something's not right. Can't stand not being able to hear the bells. Alright. Okay. First side of the span. Once that gets up a little bit, we start the second side. I love it when people get all impatient and can't wait for the damn bridge. Yeah, we'll put this down as a test. Everything's coming to a stop. There we go. Alright. Start the other span coming down. Never want to slam these down. Always got to come down gentle with them. Make sure they get lined up properly. Oh, not too bad. Alright, lock that. Lock the leaves in. Raise the gates. 4 cars waiting for us. Alright. Another successful test.